That is what we decided previously.
Dead silence.
Dead silence.
I know, the awkward dead time.
You are good to go.
I will now call to order the December 2, 2025 regular board meeting of the Stanwood-Camano School District Board of Directors. Roll call of the board directors present are Evans, Murray, King, Director Olson is excused absence. Today we're offering two opportunities to the public to speak. Comments specific to the consent agenda will be allowed prior to the vote on those items. Citizens who have submitted a request to speak during the public comment session of the agenda will be called upon to make their comments at that time, which is near the end of the meeting. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have the agenda before you for the December 2 regular school board meeting. Are there any changes to the agenda? Is there a motion to approve the agenda for the December 2, 2025 regular school board meeting as written?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Moved by who?
Evans.
Seconded by
Murray.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. It passes unanimously. The board has had the opportunity to review the November 18, 2025 regular board meeting minutes. Are there any changes or corrections to those minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes for the November 18, 2025 regular board meeting?
Second.
So moved by Director Murray and seconded by Director Evans. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those
You
opposed?
have to say I too, so
Yeah,
that way it
okay,
counts
good.
all
Oh,
three
yeah,
of our
me too.
votes.
Oh, yeah, okay, I too. All those opposed, say no. It passes unanimously. The board has had the opportunity to review the November 18, 2025 special board meeting minutes. Are there any changes or corrections to those minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes for the November 18, 2025 special board meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Director Evans, seconded by Director Murray. To approve the minutes for the November 18, 2025 special board meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. It passes unanimously. Please join me in welcoming John Russell as the newly elected Director for District 1 and Charlotte Murray as the re-elected Director of District 2. Superintendent Ovenel will have the honor of administering their oath of office.
Thank you very much. I'll ask Mr. Russell to join me at the podium. Evan says to stand right there. Thank you for raising your right hand. As the superintendent of the Stanwood-Camano School District number 401, I will now administer the oath of office to John Russell. John, please repeat after me. I, John Russell, do solemnly swear
I, John Russell, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office
of the Stanwood-Camano School District
of the Stanwood-Camano School District,
Board of Directors,
Board of Directors,
District 1,
District 1,
for the term ending November 2029,
for the term ending November 2029,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Director.
Reorganization of the board.
Oh, we have to
There's
swear,
one more.
we have to swear in Charlotte.
Oh, yeah, one more.
One more.
Yeah.
Director Murray, can you please join me at the podium? Please raise your right hand. I will now administer the oath of office to Director Charlotte Murray. Charlotte, please repeat after me. I, Charlotte Murray,
I, Charlotte Murray,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington,
and the Constitution and the laws of the state of Washington,
and that I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
discharge the duties of the office
discharge the duties of the office
of the Stanwood-Camano School District,
of the Stanwood-Camano School District,
Board of Directors,
Board of Directors,
District 2,
District 2,
for the term ending
for the term ending
November 2029,
November 2029,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations once again, Director Murray.
In accordance with Board Policy 1210, the board holds elections from among its members for president and vice president at the first meeting in December. These positions are for one-year terms. Are they nominations for president?
I would like to nominate Miranda.
And I will second that. But by the way, are there any other nominations?
You have to say it a few times.
Are there other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Okay. Then Miranda Evans has been nominated for president. Do you accept this nomination?
I do.
And we've had a second. It's been moved by Charlotte Murray and seconded by I think, right, to elect the Miranda Evans as president for 1 year. We'll hold a roll call vote. And please indicate aye or nay when your name is called. John Russell,
Aye.
Charlotte Murray,
Aye.
Miranda Evans,
Aye.
and Steve King. Aye. The policy says that the new president, let's go back up here.
Congratulations.
Okay, yeah, let's see. You did that there. Okay, yeah, congratulations, Miranda Evans. You have been elected as president.
Change the legislation. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you want to take my name?
Yeah.
Here's your chair, sir.
This is where it's a little bit awkward. so
Sorry.
bear with us.
Bear with us.
You get the hammer.
Yeah. I'm gonna just move this up. Out of the way. All right, bear with me. I get my feet back under me here. Okay, so now we get to move on to the vice president. Are there any nominations for vice presidents?
I would like to nominate Steve King for vice president.
I'll second.
Perfect. So are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Steve King has been nominated for the vice president. Do you accept this nomination?
Yes, I do.
Yes, perfect. And Mr. Russell already did the second. Is there any discussion? No? So it's been moved by Director Murray and seconded by Director Russell to elect Steve King as vice president for 1 year. We will hold a roll call vote. Please indicate aye or nay when your name is called. Director Russell.
Aye.
Director Murray.
Aye.
Director King.
Aye.
Director Evans is also an aye. Congratulations, Steve King. You have been elected as the vice president. All right. Next up, we have the legislative rep. And sorry, it's a little weird on paper for me, so. All right. Are there any nominations for the legislative rep? I would like to nominate Charlotte Murray.
I'll second.
All right. Miranda Evans nominated Charlotte Murray. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? I know it's awkward with 3 times, sorry. The rules are the rules, guys. Charlotte Murray has been nominated for the legislative representative. Do you accept this nomination? Excellent. There was a second. Is there any discussion?
I'd like to say that it is one of those areas that I have interest in. I just don't feel that I'm at that point, and I've talked to Charlotte about maybe me tagging along and helping out. So I feel that that's a role that I'd like to do.
Yeah, excellent. And I think that there's lots of opportunities. The legislative session is not just open to legislative reps, like it's open to any board directors. There are lots of school boards that send more than one director to those days. I know at WASDA, they talked about a lot of, they kind of advertised all over, like, come to our legislative day. If you saw any of those dates, but they're in the WASDA emails and stuff too. So those are all really good opportunities to kind of get your feet into some of those issues. So I love to hear that. Any other discussion? No? So it has been moved by Director Evans and seconded by Director Russell to elect Charlotte Murray as legislative representative for a 2-year term. We will hold a roll call vote. Please indicate aye or nay when your name is called. Director Russell.
Aye.
Charlotte, you should abstain on this particular one.
Can I make a correction?
Yes.
It's for a 1-year term.
Yes, 1 year term.
Oh, sorry.
Correct.
See, this is what you get when you read a piece of paper. For the 1-year term, you're correct. Oh, to finish it out, right?
Finish out the
to
1
finish
year
out
term,
the
yes,
one
yes,
for our
yes.
legislative rep that is no longer with us. You're correct. Thank you. Director King.
Aye.
And Director Evans is an aye. Congratulations, Charlotte Murray. You have been elected as the legislative representative. And we are on to the superintendent's report. Take
Great.
it away, Mr. Obenow.
I will do that. Thank you very much. And thank you for this board for congratulating our new member and our re-oath of our existing members. So congratulations to both of you. Appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and have Student Representative Alexa read the donations in as we start the superintendent's report.
The Stanwood-Camano School District received the following donation: $151.08 from Ohio File Prints based on sales of school spirit wear.
Excellent. Thank you for that donation to the district. We appreciate that. It is Utsalati night tonight with our Shining Star and Utsalati School Report. And so we're going to go ahead and start the Shining Star off with Dr. Hannah, Principal Utsalati, to go ahead and introduce your Shining Star.
Great. It is my privilege to do so, and I just wanted to mention that at Utsalati School, we choose our Shining Star by asking our 5th grade faculty to have a first consideration of students who've been with us for a few years. They then talk to other faculty. I just wanted to let everyone know that this student was someone that came up after a long conversation about a lot of really fantastic students. So I'd love to invite faculty who are here to talk about Mia Yuchenko, and that is her 3rd grade teacher, Bailey Kinker, and her 5th grade teacher, Carrie Tedrow.
Yeah, come on up.
Oh,
All
and
right.
Mia too.
Hello. You guys stand in the middle or sorry, where do you want to be? All right, good evening. My name is Carrie Tedrow. I'm going to read, sorry. And I am Mia's current 5th grade teacher at Etzlady Elementary. While I've only had Mia for the past quarter of the year so far, I've been impressed at Mia's determination and hard work. She's come here a couple years ago from the Ukraine, where she's witnessed firsthand the destruction of war and the devastating impacts it's had. She's moved to America having to adjust to a different way of living, a new school, making new friends, learning another new language. How many languages do you know? You're learning. Yeah, she's way ahead of me. I'm so impressed by Mia's perseverance and resilience. She truly enjoys learning and being a part of our community. She's always extremely respectful, kind, empathetic, and just a good person to be around. She's creative and has an artistic hand with drawing. And I'm excited for her to receive this award and feel she is one who truly deserves it. So keep working hard and dream big. The sky's the limit.
Okay, my turn. I had the absolute pleasure and honor of being Miss Mia's 3rd grade teacher, and I cannot say enough positive things about Mia to allow you all to understand just how awesome of a kiddo she is. She is creative, she's kind, she's insightful, she truly cares about her classmates, her teachers. She will remember things you tell her and check in to see how it went. If we're chatting in the morning and I tell her I'm excited for something, she's going to ask me about it the next time she sees me. She checks on to see how my dogs are. She tells me about how the other teachers are doing. She is truly a spectacular student. When she was in 3rd grade, I remember one thing specifically. She had come back from winter break, and I had multiple multi-language learners that year. And so during morning meeting, they kind of started to ask to be able to share in some of their other languages, right, Mia? And I remember distinctly she came back from winter break, and Mia knowing now English quite fluently, I'd say, and Russian and Ukrainian, right? That's 3. She came back from winter break saying, yeah, I spent some winter break learning Japanese. And I was like, man, Mia, just to be the learner that you are, I can only imagine the amazing things you're going to accomplish in your lifetime, and I'm so excited to continue to get to cheer you on. Thanks for being awesome.
Mia, is there anyone here you want to introduce tonight?
My mom.
Your mom. Hey. All right. Hi, Mom. All right, why don't you join us right over here? We're going to get some pictures and a couple other things. Come on over, Mia.
Sure. All right, so you get to find your favorite spot on the wall and stick that on it. You got to push really hard and you find your spot. Pretty good spot. I like it. Okay, good job. We're going to take a couple of photos and then we have some other gifts for you before you go, okay? We'll have you go in the middle there.
All right.
Let me step out front. We'll put people behind
We have
you.
our teachers.
Put you in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get on in
More
there.
the merrier.
You have to scoot down.
Mom, you can come closer if you want.
Oh, right here.
Oh,
My sister over there.
Sister.
All right, right here. All right, 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations. Good job.
And then I also have their certificate.
Congratulations,
Nice job, Mia. I mentioned it before, but if you were here to see Mia, or if you're Mia herself and want to go home for dinner, it's perfectly appropriate to right now. No problem. Congratulations. Thanks again, Mia and family. Next up on the superintendent's report is the Utsalati Elementary School report by Principal Dr. Hanna.
All right. I just want to start off by saying, I've got a few minutes here. There are so many fantastic things happening at Utsalati School, and I just want to invite anybody at any time, if you want to come and visit and check out the great things that we're doing. We just never have enough time to share out all the great things that are happening in Stanwood-Camano schools. So if you hear something that you're interested in, give me a call, shoot me an email, come on by and see the cool stuff that we're doing at Utsalati. I'm just so proud to be a part of this community, and I'd love to share more. But I will try to get to the good stuff in just a few minutes here. You see our concert going there. Ms. Gates somehow magically, like all of our music teachers in the elementary schools, pulls together concerts of literally hundreds of children and does so with just such grace and ease. And it looks like the children have been practicing for months, but of course they're only there 40 minutes a week, we have to remember. So I'm really proud to see that image as a start. The second slide.
You've got the
Oh, I do. You said that,
You've got the
Evan.
power.
Clear as anything. And top one?
Right.
To the right. You said it.
Is it on?
It might not be on the
Oh.
side. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for your patience, everybody.
Oh, I saw the red light.
Oh, did you?
Yep.
If not,
Can we advance it?
We
All
can,
right.
we can advance
Evan,
forward.
we can like improv. You can- If you've got the deck there, we can.
There we go.
Come on, 10 of them. There you go. Okay. So, underscoring the strategic, the element of the strategic plan around foundational early learning is what we emphasize here in the elementary school. Strong foundations, and that's what elementary school is all about. Strong foundation for lifelong growth and opportunity. So that's fine. Yeah, the next slide's great.
That was me just testing it.
Oh, hi. You're gonna be my assistant.
I'm gonna stand right here.
All right.
Come on,
So I wanted to explain a little bit more. I looked at it this evening. I don't know if that goal is very clear about literacy improvement. From the beginning of the year to the end of the year last year, there was 46% of our students at the beginning of the year were scoring in the not yet proficient, either below or well below benchmark at the beginning of the year last year. By the end of the year, we moved that to 33%, so it was a decrease of 13%. The district average was about 8%, so we were really proud of the movement of our students to proficiency, so reducing the needs improvement and non-proficient readers by 13% beginning of the year to end of year. So in order to improve that by 20%, 13, if you're doing the math with me, 20% of 13% is 2.6. So we need to drop 15.6% from beginning of year non-proficient to end of year. So that'll bring us, and we've actually started this year at 38% of our students are below or well below benchmark. Again, compared to 46% last year. So we're gonna go from 38% to 22.4%. We're gonna reduce that number significantly then by the end of the year. So I have faculty here who happily I don't have to look at right now for that ambitious goal. But I have to say, and actually they're involved, Carrie, directly in some of the strategies that I mentioned tonight, namely homogeneous groupings of students to bring them to proficiency. So we'll get to that in a moment. Around math, I know that this goal is a little bit less quantitative, but I still think it's really important, and it does come from an analysis of state assessment scores where it's clear that students have to improve in their problem-solving abilities, which means that their all of the standards for mathematical practice, like persevering and solving problems, attending to precision, analyzing arguments, all of those are the things that we need to work on for our students in order for them to do better on state standards, and then eventually, obviously, state tests around state standards. So we'll talk a little bit about that goal as well. And finally, our SEL goal will be measured by our ability to reduce the number of students and incidents that are reported in our Skyward, just our online environment that report sort of acute or outside the classroom discipline referrals. So reducing those 30% from end of year last year to end of year this year. I have a little update on that. So talking about the strategies on how to get there. I know where you are.
Since we're paused, can I have a quick question?
Please.
I'm brand new learning acronyms. What's SEL?
All right, thank you, Director Russell, and I apologize. I should make that more clear to everybody. SEL is social emotional learning. So all of those really important elements of students learning to self-regulate and have emotional regulation, impulse control, so that they can learn. We don't do any academic growth unless our animal brain is okay. And so we have that on the front burner at Upsloty, and it really makes a difference. Thank you. So there's lots of acronyms on the next slide. I apologize. Let me just briefly say that that first bullet under literacy is a set of complementary curriculum elements to our CKLA program, and they allow for all of our students to grow in the ability to learn how to read. That's what's common about all of those, is it's teaching students to read. Once we get to third grade, we have to have proficient readers. So Hegarty is a phonological awareness program. UFly is anchored. It's the University of Florida Literacy Initiative. Fantastic phonics programming. Lexia is an online environment. I just wanted to shout out to the Booster Club and the staff for helping to fund those programs. In particular, Lexia 4-5. And they were instrumental in partnering with the Booster Club to support an online subscription that is for every student in the building. I can talk on and on about Lexia, but I'm keeping an eye on the time here. We also create, when we say homogeneous groupings, what we're talking about is groups of kids who have common learning needs. So across, and I was thinking of Carrie because 4th and 5th grade just started, having students from all 4th and 5th grade classrooms get mixed up and redistributed into new classrooms in order 4 times a week to get the instruction that they need. So instead of having learning need A, B, C, and D in Mrs. Murray's class, and learning need A, B, C, and D in Mrs. Evans' class, and in Mr. King's class, let's put the A's together, and the B's together, and the C's together, and have Ms. Murray do one, Ms. Evans do another. And doing that 4 times a week really leads to a lot of growth. Around our SEL goal, I'm going to hop over there because we're so fortunate, not last summer, but the summer before, to do a full school training, 4-day training in the responsive classroom approach. Just a really research-grounded approach to SEL that leads to higher outcomes academically. So we're in year 2 of that implementation, which is kind of the hardest year. There is a sophomore slump. People come firing out from year 1 and almost everything. Year 2 is challenging to keep the authenticity of the program going. We're anchored to a text that actually the principals have just rebooted as a learning community, The Power of Our Words. I would really suggest taking a look at that text. We do text-based discussions and faculty meetings from that text. And learning walks will be a part of both math, practice learning, and responsive classroom SEL work as well. And learning walks or teacher rounds are a way for teachers to give collaborative feedback to one another on their practice. So you're going to see a slide about that in a moment, but it's also mentioned under our MAP goals as well. I just want to give a recognition to Stacey Launger for leading our faculty meeting on October 22nd. She did such amazing work with her faculty as a prior math instructional coach around teaching towards habits of mind and problem solving and higher order thinking. So she's launched, we're going to do January 17th follow through on that and begin our learning walk. I just wanted to say thank you to some corporate sponsor for having been in partnership with Dreambox, which is an online math learning program. They are able to fund free subscriptions to school districts all over the country thanks to contributions from it's corporate sponsorships, private donations, and things like that. But Dreambox is another environment that I really strongly encourage you to look into. It's really amazing. Very quickly, I also want to say thank you so much to the Olson Family Foundation for supporting recess grounds improvement. We have a significant grant at Salati to do a really impressive overhaul of the recess environment. I am almost out of time. Mr. Ovenel, it's still 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, keep going.
All right, okay. I just wanted to highlight what we're anchoring, and this is the next slide, which of course I'm going to click to. All right, how was that? When we use data to inform what we're doing, these are some of the elements that we're going to be using. MClass and Dibbles is obvious, but the Lexia and the Dreambox under literacy and math, those are those online environments. They have a progress monitoring tool, and both of them are smart programs. So they're responding to the children's responses, and they're giving the next prompt based on what the children have done, not just what they've said, but what the wrong answer was and how long it took them. And then the next prompt is in response to that. So it's always just right at that edge of their zone of proximal development to get the right answer. So that's just an exciting data source that we're using this year. Again, I just wanted to show you on the next slide this ability for me to track the faculty and how frequently they're progress monitoring students. So this is how many students are being progress monitored at the well below stage. So you see up at the top left, beginning of the year level, these are all the students who are well below. They should be progress monitored every 2 weeks. And I got just plopped it in here, showing how frequently their progress monitored. Not surprising that we're not doing any until like late September, but this is where it is that children who are well below are being progress monitored. And I can find out exactly who hasn't been progress monitored yet. But this is just one of the capacities of the MClass environment that's just really exciting. I wanted to show you the anchor for the learning walks that I talked about, the ladder of feedback to faculty. You gotta have something really simple if you wanna have teachers visiting each other's classrooms and giving each other feedback. The ladder of feedback's a great anchor, and we'll be using that again for both math practice and for SEL practice as well. Have a group of teachers, and again, one of the frameworks is called teacher rounds. It's just like physicians rounds, where we go in as a whole group, you ask some clarifying questions, you express what you value, maybe state some concerns, and make some suggestions. The research on how effective this is really powerful. I see a kind of a high sign or a half of a one from Mr. Ovenel. Yeah?
I was scratching my nose.
Oh, okay, fine. All right, fair enough. Then I'm going to keep going. One of the frameworks that Responsive Classroom offers is the Kaleidoscope, which is a peer feedback framework for the Responsive Classroom practices. So you can engage this framework. It's an online tool, and then people can visit each other's classrooms, evaluate one another's practice, give each other feedback. So that's a really great tool and relatively inexpensive, which is rare. So we're really excited about using that as well in our learning walks. And then finally, just some elements of our community engagement. We had just another fantastic Veterans Day assembly. I want to thank so much the Post for coming down and doing the display of the colors. You'll notice there a very small version of the drawing of the recess, the playground improvements that, again, are supported by the Olson Family Foundation. It's even cooler and full size. We had the full renderings just sent to us. And I want to thank so many people, Kevin Cruz for being on site to help us noodle on all the impact that this would have on the grounds, and Mr. Ovenow for being somehow squeezing in time to be at those meetings as well. I think it's going to be a really exciting project for the grounds at Unsalati. Just another really fun moment. How do I run this? Press a little play button. Oh, you can do it? Okay. This is just our trunk or treat at Unsalati School. It was a movie.
We're gonna turn the volume down.
And I just want to recognize all of the family volunteers who drove their car in one of the most torrential, we were all there for October 31st, torrential Halloweens. We backed all the cars up against the overhang at the school, and everybody popped up their decorated trunks and backs of their trucks, and we still had a fantastic time. So thanks to all those family volunteers that somehow found time to do this. It was just amazing. It was about 25 cars, I think. It was really fun. So last, just kind of as a summary statement, what we expect to see this year. And we did that one too. Pretty pleased. Thanks. I think that the sort of overarching vision is to deepen a culture of teaching and learning, getting to higher order thinking, getting to, authentic feedback, peer-to-peer, teacher-to-teacher, walking the talk, meaning that we're going to be learners, learning about learning. We have a real unrelenting focus on kids who are not yet proficient, and using all those auxiliary Tier 2 literacy and numeracy programs that we just named, Dreambox, Lexia. And again, through the initiative of our teaching and learning team, Jennifer and Colin leading the whole district in consideration of how we ensure that students are independent and engaged and involved in their learning, because when that happens, real learning actually happens as opposed to just doing tasks. So it's the final image of some smiling kids at Unsalati. I want to just highlight the top left. We have Friday recess dance parties at Unsalati. So if you want to come on a Friday at recess time, there's a lot of music being played, even when it's gray and rainy. That was a sunny September day, but we'll do it any Friday. So that's it, and we'll take whatever questions.
Does that include you for dancing?
Oh yeah, if I can get out there, absolutely. Yeah, I know more about K-pop Demon Hunters than I ever thought I would. So, and all the songs.
Any questions?
I think there's vocabulary I still need to learn, but when you talked about progress monitor, what exactly is progress monitoring? How do you do that? Is it a testing program?
Yeah.
Is it evaluation?
Yeah.
How do you do those sort of things?
Yeah. So it has to be quick because it's just what it sounds like. It's progress monitoring. Happily, especially with literacy, early literacy, when kids are learning to read, there's some really important indicators of how they're doing. So the speed with which they can name letters, the speed with which they can name letter sounds or make those sounds, blending sounds together, nonsense words. You're doing the instruction and then you're just really taking the dipstick and finding out how they're doing. And depending on how they register on those progress monitoring tools will hopefully alter your instruction. So it's really like diagnosing instructional need and prescribing instruction. It's a real physician metaphor, the progress monitoring. When you do that really close, then you grow. I mean, it's amazing. once you get a culture of progress monitoring going. The hardest thing for most schools, just like as it is with ours, is finding the time to do that, because we have a model where we're doing direct service to kids all the time. So to figure out a time where you can break off, do the progress monitoring in order to inform your instruction, we don't always build that in. Somehow the faculty magically pull that off better than I ever can imagine, but I hope that makes sense.
No, it does, and I appreciate that, especially getting, that you have faculty that tie into that are finding ways to accomplish it. That's greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I'll say.
So I have a couple of questions. You call it homogeneous groups. I'm guessing that's the same as small group learning that the other schools talk about.
Yeah.
Just different vernacular. On your thing, your example was 4th and 5th grade works together. Does that translate across other grades, like K1, 2, like the other grades are working together as well?
It does, and I want to just give a shout out to Katie Pickrell as the MTSS person for Atsalati.
Multi-tiered systems of support.
That's right, yeah. So Katie, as we, think about all kids getting common instruction, core instruction, and then there's other tiers that children have, and often it's 2 or 3 additional tiers, and so there's a multi-tiered system of support. Katie has designed a schedule at Cedar Home for many years, and we've stolen her this year, or we're sharing. And she brought a schedule where there's 2 grades that are in common schedule all across the school. So K and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5. And they have a common instructional schedule. And so, yeah, they're doing groupings as well. I only mentioned 4 or 5 because I happen to know that they just started this week doing those common groupings. But I know that the other grade levels are doing the same thing, yeah.
Okay.
I think that we have a little bit harder time, and I'd love to invite faculty up because unless they darted.
They're gone. There's one. She's still hiding back there.
I might grab you. What's more difficult is the math groupings, and we do have a premium on literacy learning. I mean, I think that we're common to a lot of districts where that ends up being in the competition between the 2 core disciplines, edging out a little bit. Getting kids to learn how to read is urgent. Otherwise, you can't do the math, you can't do the problem. So I feel like we got a lot of good energy there. I'm trying to figure out how to do that kind of homogeneous grouping in math to the same degree. We have a teacher who is a K through 3 class size teacher, both with us and with Eldred Bay, who foolishly revealed that she was the math curriculum leader in the Spokane School District. And she's been connecting with our gen ed teachers in her free time to talk about how to do that kind of work in math as well.
Okay, so that was my follow-up question. Is that the intent is to be there in other subjects, because I just saw in your thing it just said in the literacy section. So, but you're building towards it in math.
Yes.
Okay. And then on your other slide, I don't know what, but it said that you were checking to see, so the goal was staff was supposed to check progress monitoring every 2 weeks for those students who were well below. And obviously based on your chart, that's not consistently happening. So like, when or where or how are you providing that feedback to staff? Like, what does that look like? To circle back to make sure that we are meeting that standard that we've set for them.
In fairness, you might have it's almost certainly logistical. I bet you $1,000 and then some might be, say, progress monitored. You'll notice that this is every week here. So you might have somebody who is progress monitored in the week of 10/12 to 10/25. We wouldn't expect to see them the next week.
So
That's
ideally it would
every 2
be like
weeks.
50%.
Yes,
because
exactly.
you would do half of it one week, half of it another week.
So if we're inching towards 50%, that's pretty good.
Okay.
And
thank you for that clarification.
Yeah. And I also think, there's always the there's always good reasons, you know. I think that sometimes there's students who are presenting in a way where it's like, we're gonna do more harm than good in doing it this time, so maybe we'll put it off. But I think by and large, I wanna see 50%. If it dips below that, then I'm like, what's going on, you know?
Okay.
And I actually don't need to do much of that monitoring. I think that people see the value in this, and I'm glad they do.
Perfect, thank you. Anybody else have any questions?
Great. Thank you, Dr. Hannah,
Yeah,
for the
thanks.
presentation on Sliding Elementary.
Thanks, Evan. Appreciate it.
You're gonna be right there.
Oh, okay.
Next up on the superintendent's report is our transportation report per policy 6600 by our fabulous transportation director.
Are you skipping over the financial report?
Yeah, you're off one.
I am off one. Angie, is just a dress rehearsal.
No.
Ruth Fuller. Thank you.
Not yet.
Our October financial report by Ruth Floyd.
Good evening. I'd like to go over our October financials through the second month of the fiscal year. Enrollment to FTE was 4,657 at the time. That was 7 under budget and about 8 above the prior month. Keep in mind that October is historically the high water mark for the year. And so for context, December enrollment was down about 21 from October. So you can see that it does decline throughout the rest of the year. State apportionment revenues were paid at 8%, which through October totaled 17%, which is approximately how much of the year has gone by for those first 2 months. Revenues and expenditures year to date increased over the prior year as expected. And payroll costs as a percent of budget through October are lower than this time last year. And non-salary costs are running higher as a percent of budget than last year. Mostly this is due to risk pool costs going up, legal costs, and special ed contracts also have increased this year. And we paid quite a few of those out in the first couple months of the year. The manager's report, it reflects 13.9% remaining after expenditures through October. And then also that includes taking out salary and benefit encumbrances for the year. Fund balance report is showing $8 million or so in fund balance, which is slightly lower than the prior year. You can see there on that second line. And also because budgeted revenues increased, that percentage of fund balance as a percent of revenue also declined by about 0.5% compared to the prior year. And then the budget summary, just similar, a little bit different look at it, the expenditures. It's the MSOC or non-salary costs are, as I discussed, running a bit higher than expected for the first 2 months. But if it may be just some timing because preliminary November MSOC costs are actually lower than the prior November. Having an additional month to kind of take a peek at as I'm presenting the prior month is kind of helpful to just give you some context that even though MSOC through October seemed like it was running a little hot, November came back down a bit. And then the budget status reports, general fund, we've been discussing already. Capital projects fund balance is ended October at $3.7 million, about flat from the prior month. Debt service fund reflects tax collections, and then as you know, December bond payments will come out in December. And then ASB fund shows typical revenues and expenditures for the year. And transportation vehicle fund balance is fairly flat. We still have that encumbrance waiting for delivery of school buses. Then budget capacity reflects some carryover adjustments, special education contract increases, as well as offsetting partially those contracted increases as reduction in salary and benefits, which is the positive number that you see there third line from the bottom. And then our food services report shows expenditures outpacing revenues through October, but that is expected in the budget. And then the average daily participation for breakfast and lunch are a bit higher than last year's October report, but catering is under last year. That is the last page of the report. I'm happy to answer any specific questions you might have.
Just to clarify, so we're currently under our budgeted enrollments. December is the last month where we get like our budgeted amount, and then January they start the true up process, which historically has been a benefit for us, but this year it will not be. We're on track to like manage that sort of retraction of money because it will be getting less than.
Correct. So we knew that enrollment was under budget in the fall, and so we were able to pull back on 2 kindergarten classes and not hire those. So that helps. We also held back on another 0.5 position, and we have been, diligently watching the budget and making sure that if there's any savings that we can find, that we do that, just to make sure that our cash flow is okay once that true up happens, because the revenues that you're seeing here, the apportionment portion of those revenues are based on that higher enrollment. And as you said, in January, that true up will happen and the revenues will decline a bit.
Okay, and then, I don't remember the numbers, but I know when we talked about our budget last year, we talked about, excuse me, we're using so much of our general funds, like 1 million of our general fund. Does this mean we're gonna have to dip more into that?
So the budget had about 1.4 million use of fund balance. And we are looking at it being perhaps a bit more than that. But my hope is that throughout the year, as happens in prior years, we're able to realize some savings from unfilled positions and, every department or school not using exactly 100% of all their money that's allocated to them. That normally happens in every school year. And so my hope is that, once that all is said and done, we will meet our budgeted reduction of fund balance, meaning the 1.4 million rather than a bit more than that. Through October, it was looking like it may be more than that, but as I said, November, I was pleased to see that the MSOC costs came down.
So when do we traditionally would see that trend is happening, that those savings are coming through? When in the year do we start to see that?
Well, it's projections that I need to do, assuming and make some assumptions about how historically how much we spend based on prior year history and trends. And so I can be surprised when I make a projection and I think that we're on track to, spend at a certain clip. And then, maybe I just didn't know that a department or a school had something planned later in the year that they hadn't done later in the year, the prior year. And so it's a little bit of an art, figuring out how that is all going to end. But as we get more months under our belt, that becomes clearer and clearer. And especially after January, once the apportionment trues up, I'll be able to really take a very close look at that and make sure that my projections are looking to be on track.
I've been impressed when I wasn't sitting on this side, sitting on the other side. I've always been impressed by how you do your numbers and calculate. So I have a lot of confidence in you being able to do that. So I was just curious on how do we look at that?
Yeah. I look at about a 5-year trend of how we've spent based on the number of months that have gone by. And then, as I said, it just gets better and better as I have more history.
Thank you. Just a quick comment on enrollment as it's down again this month. We'll have the November enrollment report presented at the next meeting, but looking at the called the P223 report yesterday. We are down 1 or 2 students per grade, so it's not a lump in any grade level like we might see later in the year with our seniors. 4th grade had 4, but other than that, each grade level had 1 or 2 head count. So it's not like we're seeing it in one specific area across the district.
That's across all the schools?
Across all the schools. So 1 or 2 per grade level across all schools.
So we don't have any big bubbles that are coming through?
We do have some bubbles, but we don't see it. We didn't see the drop in enrollment from November to December carry out.
Concentrated.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. Appreciate the report, and we'll continue to do the monthly financial reports as we want to make sure not only this board but our community knows the state of our financial position for the district. Next up is Angie O'Connor, our transportation director. Thank you, Angie.
Thank you, guys. I just want to say thank you guys for letting me present this evening our transportation update for the district. Just want to tell you, when I think about the engagement as the commitment that we've made to our students in the strategic plan, I believe it aligns with our transportation department and the community that we get to serve. Our department right now has 75 employees. We have approximately 39 contracted bus drivers. We have substitute bus drivers. We have mechanics. We have bus paras, secretary, dispatchers, and our router. We right now have 61 buses, that includes big and little, and we have 2 full-time mechanics plus 1 part-time mechanic that do all the maintenance on that. And we are transporting approximately 3,400 students each day. So our transportation team, we have ongoing training for new bus drivers so that we ensure that we're meeting the demands of the district. We also are engaging in training and professional development for those drivers that we have currently to make sure they're enhancing their skills and keeping up their safety practices. Our coverage, we've continued to successfully cover all of the academic and sports trips without using charters, along with our routes, our to and from routes daily. So that's a big deal. That's huge for us. It really just demonstrates our dedication in our department. I really feel strongly about that. Our community engagement, we have had many opportunities to participate in community events with our buses. We use our drivers as volunteers. Not only do we get to go have fun and participate in these, but we get to positively promote our district, and we're a billboard on our school bus. So it's super fun to have the community come see our school buses. Also get to kind of recruit some new drivers possibly, or employees in our district, and just kind of let them kind of get the feel of it and how much we enjoy our jobs and enjoy what we're doing. Our mechanics here are part of our team. They continue to work hard each and every day to get 100% inspection. When we get our state patrol inspection, we continue to get 100% on that. Safety for them is top priority in our shop. It never, ever leaves the shop unless it's 100% safe for our students. Next is our bus routes. We are continuing to do daily adjustments to improve efficiency and reduce costs where we can. Our funding, but by ensuring that all of our routes are managed by bus drivers in school buses, not only is it safer for our students, but it helps secure funding when possible. So also in our routes, our snow routes are complete. They are updated. They've been posted on the website and communicated to families, and this just really helps with the preparedness of the winter conditions. So that was a huge thing this month we just got done. Our new buses, they will be delivered next month. They bumped it back to January of 26. We have 3 new, big Type D route buses coming this year. Expanding our fleet with new buses helps to support our TDF, along with making sure that our students are always safe in buses that are newer and they're just safer. They're updated, they're newer, they're not running rampant and ragged. So we're excited to see those new buses.
Can you tell us what TDF stands for?
TDF is a Transportation Vehicle Fund. So, yes. sorry, the acronym.
I know.
No, it's good. The parking lot, we have our new parking lot. I know a lot of you drove by it this summer, probably saw it with no buses there. It was really odd. But the asphalt is finished. It's all laid out, and this will ensure the longevity of our parking lot now. So it's much better and much safer, and it looks great.
I mean, it doesn't bounce and squeak.
No, there's no water pushing out of it.
It's
It's
weird.
fantastic.
It's weird.
Yeah, we love it. So, again, I just want to say thank you to you guys and our community for supporting us and the work that we do here for our district. So, do you guys have any questions?
I had one. I know you kind of, I think you kind of touched on it, but I was just kind of curious. I know that we do account for how many kids are riding buses. What is our year over year?
We're right around 33, it's between 33 and 3,400. That's our student count.
So it is
usually
pretty averaged out.
Yeah, we go up and down, but our, the fall count that we just did, I was gonna write it down because I knew you were gonna ask the exact, I can't even email if you're curious, but our survey report was right around it was like 33 something, so, which is about average, so. And I try
So we're
really
not
hard
seeing
to.
a decrease in.
Yeah, they do,
usage
and we
or-
try to, we pick the good rider weeks too. We go through the entire month and we add it all up and make sure that we're getting the appropriate funding, so.
Did I hear somewhere too that we had also planned that kids weren't on a bus for a certain length of time too, and how you did your routes?
Yeah, we worked on consolidating some routes. We look at them and, on paper, this is without stoplights and traffic and the horrendousness of 532 right now. On paper, none of our students are routed for anything over an hour on paper. There are a few exceptions. We have out of boundary schools, we have some students in special placements, like Elder Bay, and they might live out at Warm Beach. And so they sometimes are on the bus a little bit longer than that. Or we've had just a special, they're out of boundary schools that serve what they need. So they are a little bit longer, but when possible, whenever we can, we're adjusting. And then even if we need to do some readjusting, the beginning of January, we always look at all of our routes again and see where we can, we put out a map and we decide where we can cut and where we can make it work to cut on the driver time, but cut on the students' time on the bus. So we do that each January, the route at night. So.
Just out of curiosity, you said we have 2.5 mechanics. Do we have like just enough work that we just keep 2.5 mechanics busy, or do we use like do we contract other?
We are very, very self-sustained really down there. We do send a couple things out. We've had a lot of warranty work that we do send out because it's more cost effective, especially with that. But our mechanics do 90% of our work and a lot of their stuff. And they also do all the maintenance for all the vehicles around here. They work on the lawnmowers and everything else that you see. Those 2.5 guys keep everything in our district running. So the, the generators, they keep them, I mean, they do everything. So we're really, really lucky to have the guys that we do, so.
Perfect. I guess my question was kind of the opposite, is like, do they have like, I know some other government agents, like if they have a mechanic, they maybe take in work from other places as like a revenue.
We don't. No.
You don't have to.
No.
Yeah, okay. That was kind of my question, is like, we have the work to keep them all busy.
We have the work, yeah. And we do keep everything in-house because it's more cost effective.
For sure.
So, yeah.
Thank
we
you.
always have work.
They're never just taking
Nope.
I like it.
You mentioned we're getting some new buses. Can you just compare those to the ones that we will be getting rid of?
Currently, we, this year, I don't remember if it was the beginning of last year, we surplused one bus. It was a big Type D bus. We have a couple, once a bus falls off depreciation, which means it's not bringing any more money to the TDF fund, we decide if it's going to be cost effective to keep, or we're going to get rid of it and either surplus it or trade it in. We keep as many as we can on the road until it costs more than it does to keep. And so right now, we aren't getting rid of any buses. We are talking about trading in a couple of smaller Type A buses that are just, they're starting to become kind of nickel and diming, and we don't want that. So currently, we're just getting those 3 buses in. We aren't getting rid of anything for those 3 buses. So
We'll have more capacity.
we've shifted some stuff around, and with the way they redid the parking lot, they kind of helped us out with some extra parking. So, and we do have some buses at Elder Bay and Atzelati, so that helps us at transportation to have more space.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
I just want to say thank you to you, Angie, for your leadership around the transportation department, and to that picture up there of the whole transportation team. They are the lights are turning on around 4 in the morning and not till 6 sometimes at night to get all the students home safely. We have conversations about last student home. Okay, you can sleep now, right? So no, thanks for all your hard work. Appreciate it. So the last item on the superintendent's report is my 100-day report. It was an item that I had promised when I put my 100-day plan out this summer, and the board has a copy of it. It's also online for a few more days, maybe, to reference. But I'm going to talk through some of the tenets of the 100-day report right now. So as I've moved through the first 100 days, my focus has been on stability, strengthening trust, and making sure our systems, both instructional and operational, are clear, consistent, and financially grounded. Although today marks really 11 months, this report was promised when my 100-day goals were laid out this summer. So I wanted to make sure that I delivered on that, and is meant to reassure the board and the larger community about your selection to hire me as the superintendent for the district. You'll see that on the next 3 slides, I've clipped the objectives from each of the phases of my entry plan. Some of the evidence of the forward movement is visible. You can see it in the district, and some is made through qualitative metrics. You'll likely know that in addition to listening and relationship building that has happened, I've spent considerable time refining our operational practices, continued to review budget routines and the structures that keep our schools running. We have very strong people, qualified and committed employees in this district, in every area of this district. And I can't say that enough. And strong systems in place, and we remain committed to tight financial oversight like Ruth talked about this evening, even in the midst of inadequate funding from the state, which results in a heavy reliance on our local community to operate our public schools. And I'm not bashful about saying that. This means continuing our regular budget monitoring, aligning our practices and our resources to our strategic plan, and ensuring that every dollar that we have focuses on learning and is essential for our school operations. At the same time, I know that the last couple of years have brought some turbulence for staff due to continued reductions and tightening of budgets and spending. That's evident and happens when those situations rise. One of my priorities has been clarifying who owns instructional components within the district and support systems so that when staff reach out for help, they receive consistent and timely feedback and responses. We've worked to clean up inefficiencies and streamline processes, not to add tasks, which can often happen in a leadership change, but to remove unnecessary directives so that we can ensure that instructional time is maximized and stays protected. So in action, that's meant reducing and redesigning the central office structure. So each leader owns clear systems. That looks like what you've heard tonight already, our multi-tiered systems of support team. That's our teaching and learning department, our student support services, and our special services or special education department. This reduction and change was driven by budget constraints and needed reductions as we move to align our district to the MTSS model. So lastly, as you know, significant leadership changes and reductions in buildings took place, and I'm proud of the work our building leaders are doing to shoulder that change and that gains are being made. So this is phase 2, and you've heard me talk a lot about the first months in a number of different ways through my weekly updates or Friday family messages or community connections about the school visits. I continue to remain committed to my philosophy of every school, every week. It keeps me connected to not only staff, but also the students. I'm a deep believer in that as a leader, and continue the open conversations that initially and continue to be, they weren't about launching an overbearing amount of new initiatives like I talked about earlier, about listening, being transparent, about our financial picture, and about strengthening confidence in the supports that staff and community should expect from this district office and your district as a whole. Phase 3, October through November, we've identified areas where clearer procedures and timelines will improve, efficiencies and strengthen consistency across buildings. That work is underway and is designed to protect both our taxpayer investment in our schools, both operationally and structurally, and the long-term health of our schools as well. And it is also to shield staff, both certificated and classified staff, wherever policy allows, from the noise of outside issues that can create a deviation of focus away from serving our students. So you will see a benchmark in this slide around the strategic plan update, which is forthcoming and in motion, and as well as initiating our capital levy for longer-term stability. So the first 100 days were focused on deepening trust in our operation and direction, emphasizing clarity to systems and expectation, and aligning people, resources, and priorities to our strategic plan, which has and will continue to happen, continues to rely on our hope and expectation that the state restores stable funding to public education that keeps the cost escalations that we're seeing across the district and operations, things like insurance quadrupling, utilities doubling, and commodities continuing to move upwards, so that deeper reductions do not affect our classrooms and our students. Over the past 11 months, we have intentionally moved the district into a position of stability and forward momentum. As we begin our strategic plan updates and continue the levy work, I want to be clear, my work is to ensure safety in our systems, stable, efficient, and sustainable work so that we can fulfill our promise of empowering every student. Thank you.
Any other questions? I did.
Okay.
Historically, when we've had like staffing restructures, there's like I don't want to call it like a tree, but like a staffing tree that kind of shows where everybody lands, what their role is, and what sort of job titles or duties fall under that.
Yes.
Do we have one of those that we could get?
Sure. We have an organizational chart that outlines just what you were talking about, kind of the hierarchical structure. Sorry for not articulating that well. The structure, so that both staff and community know who to contact, and what that organizational structure is. And it's actually on our website, but I'm happy to grab it.
Could we, so if it's on the website, could I perhaps, I'm guessing the archive one is not, would there be a way to get one that sort of highlights, I mean, obviously we have different people in their roles, and we've sort of shrunk down our district office staffing. Can we maybe like just highlight the changes to see like what that looks like? If, like, my concern is, you know, I understand budgets and shrinking down district office staff and all of those things, but I also know that when I first came on the board, one of the things that was a concern for me was how many hats everybody was wearing, and if you're wearing too many hats, you can't be effective at any one particular hat. So I just want to make sure that we're not sort of maybe sliding too far back in that direction as well, where we're just stacking hats on people's heads. So I'd kind of like to have an idea, like a visual.
Absolutely.
Actually,
and we've been tracking that change, that delta each year for the last 5 years around positions, not only at the central office, but in buildings as well. So we're happy to produce that as a model moving forward.
That'd be really great. Thank you.
I think along those lines is my thinking of what the question Miranda asked is, we have so many very competent people within our district And in that competency, sometimes we give them another hat and another hat, but it kind of masks what really should be maybe individual jobs or individual, rather than just giving it to somebody who can fill in that gap. We as a board want to make sure that we're staffing adequately and not just, putting another hat on somebody because they're competent.
Definitely.
We've got some really talented people within our administration.
Definitely appreciate that, and I would say that it's across the district. I think about our paraeducators that are split between several different classrooms, or our teachers that are a 1.2 FTE, our principals without deans in the building this year. So I just appreciate the comment there and the recognition that the district is running lean in an effort to preserve fund balance and in light of the structure of public education funding right now. So appreciate that.
Any other questions?
Thank you. That ends the superintendent's report.
All right. Figure out where I'm at here. All right, we will now move on to the consent agenda. Anyone in attendance may speak to the items contained in the consent agenda, and only those items contained in the consent agenda at this time. This is not the portion of the meeting for open public comment on items outside of the consent agenda. That is coming up soon. We'll start with, are there any board directors who wish to pull any items from the consent agenda for discussion?
I have questions on the resolution on item number 2, resolution 2025-2026 to close impressed accounts for middle schools and set impressed and petty cash amounts for others. So I'd like to request to pull that so we can have a discussion and pass that separately.
Yep. Okay, so we will pull consent agenda item number 2. Any other? No? Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak on any of the items in the consent agenda? No? All right. So, my question to you is there a motion to approve consent agenda items 1 and 3 through 6?
So moved. I'll second.
Okay, so it has been moved by Director King and seconded by Director Russell to approve consent agenda items 1 and 3 through 6. All in favor of approving those items 1 and 3 through 6, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. Now we will talk about consent agenda item number 2, which is the approval of resolution 2025-2026-006. Impressed accounts. What are they? What do they mean?
Impressed accounts are basically bank accounts at a local bank. As you know, our ex officio treasurer is actually Snohomish County. That's where we keep all of our funds. That's who invests our money for us so that we can earn a little bit of interest. But school districts are allowed to have separate bank accounts at a local bank to help, make things more quick and easy for doing small refunds and such to parents who request a refund or other small payments at the school level or at the district level.
So, are we talking like Booster Club reimbursements, or are we talking like I paid for a sport and my kid didn't play it? Like,
correct, that's exactly it. So a pay-to-play fee gets paid. They ended up not participating, or they got cut from the sport, something like that. We would refund that.
So but it sounds like it was a very low usage.
Yes, at the middle schools, they hadn't been using them, and if they needed to, if they have a need for that kind of thing, they would send a request up to the district office. We have a revolving impressed account at the district office that we can write the checks to families.
so by closing these accounts or doing whatever, we're not saying like, oh, we can't pay people money back. It's just it comes from the district office instead of the individual school. So we're just moving it to one larger account instead of multiple little ones.
Correct, yes.
And then just to clarify, the petty cash?
Petty cash also is considered an impress because it's outside of our treasurer's office, the treasurer, Snohomish County treasurer. And each of the schools listed on the resolution have $100 that they keep in a locked location so that if they need to either make change or have to they could do a refund in a pinch, like the middle schools, now that they don't have a bank account, they could do a refund, that kind of thing. Buying postage, just small purchases that are needed in the moment and quickly.
And then they would submit that bill to, or that receipt to?
They submit it to the district office, accounts payable then reimburses their petty cash.
And so the 3,000 from each of the middle school ASB, will those dollars go back to those ASB funds specifically?
Yes, right now they're kind of at the district level under a separate general ledger account on the asset side of our trial balance or balance sheet. And so that would go back to the, it's just basically cash sitting out there. So it's not really revenue to the schools. It just is available for those schools to budget in a future year to be able to, spend the money a different way. It's still available to them to spend. It's just cash sitting in a different location, and then it goes back into the treasurer's bank side of the ledger.
So those are funds that can carry over, because I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I think what we're trying to get a handle on is if a school thinks that they have, 3,000 because it's been sitting in the bank account, and then it gets rolled into to a ledger or line item, does the school still have that money considered as far as a carryover to use it for those type of things? Or these are basically reimbursements, is what you're saying that account was used for?
It was reimbursements, but the reimbursements then are an expenditure that they budget for. So they always have the $3,000 budgeted to spend. It's just that now the cash is, instead of coming from a local bank account, it'll come from the treasurers. So it's an asset, not an expenditure.
We're just moving banks.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an accounting thing. So the cash, instead of sitting at the Heritage Bank, it'll be at the county treasurers. But either way, the schools could spend the money if they budgeted to spend the money in their ASB budget.
So how many account-wise, how many accounts does that leave us at Heritage Bank then if we're decreasing?
It leaves us with 2 interest accounts. One Stanwood-Camano revolving fund for $10,000, one Stanwood High School ASB interest account for $15,000. And then we have a bank account for payroll depository bank account. And then we have an accounts fiscal depository account.
So we still have significant, we will still have significant accounts at
Heritage Bank.
As a sponsor, I want to make sure that, are we pulling all of our stuff and that kind of thing?
No, we would still, all of our outside of the treasurer banking is, would be with Heritage, other than our procurement cards is out of different.
And just, maybe this is an assumption on my part. My assumption is the reason for consolidating this is I'm guessing they charge us a fee for each account that they have there. And so if we're not using them, it doesn't really make sense to keep an account that we just keep getting charged for over and over again.
Yeah, there's a monthly fee for the accounts.
Okay.
And it sounded like too that part of that was processing, that it could be processed. There was an impression that it could be processed faster, like you said, somebody comes in, but your system that we have now in the school district, those refunds can be processed pretty quickly as it is. Right?
Yes,
we just go in and you guys can issue the check through the draft or however we do it. So.
Correct. That's the beauty of an impressed account. It can, the checks can be written on the fly. I'm the signatory person who signs off on it as the approver. And then you would see it as the board when we do a warrant to reimburse the impressed account. So yes, it definitely is a quicker process for those smaller items.
Yeah, because I can see from the customer service point of view, is if a parent's coming in or a parent wants, or the student wants that refund back, we don't want to have anything that would cause any sort of delays or an impression of, hey, you gotta go to the school, school district and all that. But the process is still going to be pretty smooth for those to happen.
Yes, I wouldn't imagine there would be a hardship. In fact, these impressed accounts are helping to, provide it quicker to them. And the district office that actually we've been doing this also with the elementary schools, and there have not been any complaints about the turnaround time to send the request up to the district office.
And we're not having any issues with petty cash at all the different schools as far as audit?
No, in fact, the state auditor does a surprise petty cash audit or impressed account audit. They pick a school and they will go there and confirm. And then we also, at the district office, do an internal surprise petty cash audit of 1 or 2 schools a year as well. So we do monitor that.
Any other questions?
No, we need to make a motion if you're ready.
All right. Is there a motion to approve consent agenda item 2?
I'll move. So moved.
I will second that.
All right. So it has been moved by Director Russell and seconded by Director Murray. All in favor of approving consent agenda item 2, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Say nay. Passes unanimously. We have no old business. We on public comment. We have 0 public comment as well. Sounds good. Topic scheduled for the school board discussion. So it looks like we have 1 item. It is our first reading. I think it might be our third first reading of revised board policy 3241, student discipline. This is the policy that we had our study session on. Is there any additional discussion? Taking a look at it, it looks like all of the changes that we requested in regards to staff authority were put back in. Any other discussion or anything you want to add?
I'd just add that we did run the revised version with the staff authority put back in through our legal counsel, and they said there was no issues legally with amending it that way.
I think for me, it's a matter of me just trying to process it really fast. I missed witnessing the study session that you have on it. My first couple readings, I was a little bit confused. So I think what would help me is the rest of you guys read through what we have now. This is our first reading. And if there are other issues, because the second reading we would actually pass it, correct?
Right, so we discuss it now, and then it goes on to the consent agenda in our next meeting.
So I guess you guys have done all the work on it, and a lot of work on it. And so I'm not up to speed on it. I think when I try to objectively look at it and read through it, I think there's some points in there that are a little bit confusing. And I don't necessarily, of all of I've been trying to catch up on all the policies. All the policies that we have, there are very few that would touch students every single day. This is one policy that would touch students every single day. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's kind of a cross between a policy and a little bit of procedure in there.
So once we have a policy in place, then they will have the procedures. There is proposed procedures that we did go over in our study session that I'm sure that Mr. Ovenel could get for you.
Yes.
I would really suggest going back and watching that
Yes.
study session. I mean, if you have specific questions, I know this one is really daunting though, because there is a lot of strike-throughs. One of the things that I would say that we sort of talked about the most in our study session is it didn't necessarily, it looks like it removed a lot of things, but really what it did is it moved it from one location to another. So it kind of flipped, like if you look in the, like this top section, the introduction, philosophy and purpose part of it, like a lot of that, they just moved stuff up into there. And then one of the big things that we did talk about in our study session was that the original proposed one did remove that staff authority section, and we didn't care for that. So like Mr. Obenall said, we had it put back in, and we had that run through our lawyer. This is a policy that is a proposed change from WASDA, but it's also due to updates from some of the RCWs. Yeah. And these were supposed to be, the RCWs changed in 2024, so we are a little bit behind the times on getting it approved. But not to say that we want to rush you or anything. If you have additional questions, you know, or if you had something specific, I'd love to chat about those.
Yeah, I think that's part of the challenge is when you have somebody coming brand new onto the board and you come across something like this that's fairly significant. And I want to defer to the experience that you guys and work you put into this. But we also can only talk in a public forum, you know, when we're all together. So that's what makes it a little bit of a challenge. I think that the questions that it raises to me is that we, and some of this may be answered in the procedure part of it, is consistency across the district.
I can talk about that.
Yeah.
In fact, the recommended procedure by WASDA, like Director Evans said, clears up some of that. They also have a matrix that was actually in one of the sessions the law session at WASDA's conference 2 weeks ago, that I think provides clarity for school administrators on what is appropriate discipline for certain actions. That wasn't typical prior to this, and that had gone away actually. So that being back in there and being a form that we can reference, our school administrators can reference after the policy's passed, will provide clarity.
One of the things, you're correct, we cannot meet as a large group of people outside of the public meeting. However, if you had specific questions on this, either you and Mr. Obenall or you, myself, and Mr. Obenall could arrange a time to sit down and go through some of the documents that we went through our study session, and maybe get you up to speed on that. We're not actually voting on anything today. What we're looking for is just consensus if we're going to move it forward to a second vote or a second reading, which would be when you would vote on it. So it's kind of one of those things where we have a little bit of time, or if you had questions, I would love to schedule a session where we could walk through what we went through in the study sessions.
I think that would be helpful because I think it's the historical context or content, the context that I'd like. So I think it would be appropriate for you as the board president and Ryan, if I came in and met with you and you guys could bring me up to speed of kind of the history and context.
Well, I'll start with providing the packet that the board had at the study session for you to review, and then we can set up that time.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah, it works for me.
Okay, and then maybe just email, once you get the packet, maybe just email some available times to Mr. Obenall and myself, and we can get something on the schedule to make sure that you feel comfortable with that. And then you would also, again, just because it's moved to a second reading and it's on the consent agenda item, just like we did today, you could pull it and ask additional questions then if you wanted to as well.
This is helpful to have this type of discussion across, so that I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So I guess the question is there consensus to move it as a second reading? Yes? Okay, perfect. So we will move that to a second reading.
Yep, thanks.
Next up, we have our student representative reports on school business. We only have one student representative, all bright and shiny here today. Take it away.
Okay, my report today is really short, like not really short, but short. And basically, we have a group in ASB that is finalizing our winter wishes, which is kind of just like events we do leading up to winter break, and that can be like lunch activities, and all that kind of stuff, which we're hoping is done tomorrow or Thursday. And then we've also created an assembly group that is planning our assembly for the 19th. And we reached out to JJ, which was our Ignite guest, who came in and kind of taught us like things that were inclusive and engaging. And we reached out to him to see some games that we could use for our assembly, because we wanted to have games that were more inclusive and engaging for students, because usually it's like the same students that come down for those games. We're trying to get more people to come in and kind of get that engagement going. And then I am working with the middle school on getting reports. I kind of had like a little block, but I'm getting that fixed. And I'm hoping to have it for the next board meeting, which will be in January. And then as for students, I've seen a lot of engagement in my classes, and I've seen like less people in the hallway when I go out and feed. And also the semester is gonna end like pretty soon. It's at the end of January, so I think it's good that students are staying like strong, especially for like the 3 weeks that are leading up to winter break, and then even coming back like still engaged and strong for like the last month of the semester. But that's all I have. If there are any questions.
Thanks.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, so we will dip into board director reports on business conducted. We will start on the end. Director Russell, I know I put you on the spot. Your first meeting and your first.
First of all, thank you to everybody. I truly appreciate being welcomed onto the board, and everybody's been very supportive. Literally within a week or so of the election, Ryan tells me, by the way, we've got you signed up for the Washington State Directors Association WASDA conference, and we need you there. Especially on Thursday, which is the new board member boot camp, which sounds kind of ominous. But they didn't make us run around the room. But we did go through a lot of things. It was quite eye-opening. I learned a lot of things about open meetings, and but I think the real takeaway is really finding ways to revitalize your board, take the enthusiasm that's in your board and your staff and the community, and find ways to apply that to making our students better. And there were a couple things that distinctly stood out to me that I kind of wanted to share with you guys. One of them was, one of the presenters came up and talked about a human doing versus human being. And human doing is resume. I ran on my resume, I ran on my experience, who I was, and things like that. That's the list of your accomplishments and things. And then there's human being, and human being is, I'm the son of Sandra and Keith Russell. I grew up in Washington State. I've got 2 grown daughters. I got 4 cats. Those are the things that are the human side. And if we try to find more pieces of our human connections in this community, I think a lot of the other things will drop into place. So I really took that to heart, that's really, we're trusted with human doing, but decisions shape the lives of human beings. And that's something that we really need to keep in contact. The other one was the principal of Ruby Bridges Elementary School, which is North Shore School District. Her name is Kathy Davis, I believe, if I got that right. And their school, they built a brand new elementary school because of development in the North Shore School District, and COVID hit. And so they had a brand new empty elementary school. And so they had to figure out how to connect to their students. And in that process, they learned things that they've carried over since they reopened the school. They do a lot of things that I thought we don't necessarily have to go duplicate them, but I think it really makes a sense of what a community is. Their kids all know what their vision statement is. And their vision statement is fairly simple, but it's very profound to me. It is, you are a learner, you are a leader, you belong here. And that's it. The other thing that they state, I don't want to use the word mainstream because that's not really the right word, but they have a significant population within their school of what we would generally say students that need special needs. And their approach is presume the competence of students and the grown-ups. And in doing that, you are always presuming that that student is going to be competent to the best of their ability. And that to me really sunk in. That's a different way of thinking. And then I thought of all of the examples that I know within this district, and we have people that are doing that. They believe in the competency of their students, and those students shine. So I'm not saying that that's something we're not doing, that's just something that I recognized it or I saw that in a different light. The other thing on that is that we do not get to redo any minutes of their educational journey. That's a really important thing. It's easy for us because we've been around for years and we have years of experience and we know that things come and go and everything else. But if you really think about a kid in a classroom, we don't get that minute back. So we got to maximize working with that student every single day. We can't give up we can't sacrifice their minutes that they need. So I thought those were all cool things that I took away. I was really impressed. Ryan, thank you for signing me up. Thank you, all of you, for supporting me there. It was I wouldn't necessarily say changing, but it reinforced and made me enthusiastic for running for this position. And I'm really excited of where we can go and where we can be. So thank you. And thank you for letting me go through that speech.
Thank you. Director Murray?
Okay, I won't take as much time. We're a little over tonight, but I will say that a lot of the things that Director Russell mentioned, I also had notated in my notes of our time together. But I also sat in on a legislative session and fiscal school district financial health session with Superintendent Ovenel. And so there were some interesting things talked about there around birth rates and the potential loss of federal revenues and a lot of things that we're really needing to probably be thinking about hard about the next 6 months or so as we're starting to navigate and figure out what is going to be there and what isn't in the near future. It really made me think about how are we spending our dollars, how are we keeping our dollars as close to the classroom as possible. So looking forward to having more conversations around that. Another session that I actually sat in on also was supporting post-secondary, which had some really interesting discussion around where our students are going after they leave the K-12 system. And a couple of the takeaways that I got from that is that adults need to talk about what their paths are. So our teachers, our volunteers that are interacting with our kids really need to share their experiences with our kids because they're not having the same experience we had when we were in school. They're not having a chance to go out and have that first job necessarily before they graduate from high school. We talk about going to college or doing CTE or apprenticeship or any of these different pathways, which are all fantastic. But at the end of the day, it's hard, I think, for our students, which I would appreciate hearing from you on, is at the end of the day, our paths are not straightforward. I mean, I think about all of the jobs that I've had in my lifetime and all those experiences. And I think our students need to hear from us that it's not a failure to start in one direction and have to branch off in another direction. So they talked about having students or alumni come back to school and talk, years later and talk about their experience once they left the school system as a possible way to kind of also share that experience, which I thought was really good. As far as the legislative session, it was pretty much the same, talking about the big three with MSOC, special education, and I'm trying to think what the other one was. I can't remember right now. But the big takeaway that I got from that session is I am looking forward to building kind of a mentoring program for anyone who's interested in being the legislative rep on this board, because I think it's important that everyone is an advocate, no matter whether you're a parent or you're a board member or you're a staff member. Everyone's voice needs to be at the table and expressing what is going on in our school system to our legislators, and they need to be hearing from all of us at this point and how important it is to fund public education. Lastly, don't forget, Giving Tuesday is today, so make sure you go out to our wonderful staff website and make sure you give. There are several opportunities to support our schools there, and I know I've done my job today, so thank you.
Thank you. Director King?
Okay, I'll give you about 5% of what I was gonna do. Just get on high points and maybe more in January. But I focused on artificial intelligence, especially at Washington. And I did other things too. And especially was impressed by a presentation by the Quincy School District in Central Washington, mainly by the superintendent. And related to that, though, you may recall the book study that we did some months ago on the subject of smartphones and impacts on kids and policies and so on. And the book that we read by Jonathan Haidt, title was Anxious Generation, subtitle Why Smartphones Are Causing Epidemic of Mental Illness, etc. I'm on his mailing list now, and for like newsletter stuff, and he just recently put up one on AI with a giant, or not red flag, orange flag, caution flag on that topic too. Maybe potentially worse impact on kids than the smartphones. And so, anyway, more about that later. But I recommend his newsletter, get it through Substack, and then he actually was his essay on the subject, followed by essays by 3 or 4 others on the same subject. I recommend that. We'll talk more about this later.
Thank you. Yes, we will have on our next agenda, we will have like a section in our school board discussion of what were your learnings or your biggest takeaways from the WASDA conference. So we try to generally split up and everybody goes to as many of the different sessions as possible and then compile all the information and come back and share it. So more to look forward to on that. And make sure you bring all your notes and stuff for that meeting so you can talk about that. But again, it would be your learnings, your wonderings, like your biggest takeaway that you took from that conference. I also thought it was a really great conference. There was lots of people there. I got to see people that I haven't seen in a minute, which is always exciting. It is always worth the investment in our learning. we're going to call everybody a lifelong learner, we have to be committed to being lifelong learners ourselves. So I think that it is a great use of our funds and time as school board directors to go to that. We do want to remind you that we have a board study session next week on the 11th. It is our board training where we're going to go over all of the requirements for our Open Public Meetings Act and our Public Records Act, so we can be up to speed on that. So we will have a really delightful lawyer, Charles Leach, coming to give us that presentation. Also coming soon to a theater near you, there will be a study session where we go over our board goals, and we actually get some goals on the board, so we can be up to speed there. I will make sure that everybody gets sort of what our last known goals were, and sort of where we're at. I think that it's important as a board to have goals. One, because our policy says we have to, and two, we drive the vision of the school district. And if we're working on our new strategic plan and updating that, it is important that we start at the top with our goals. So that will be coming sooner rather than later to get that squared away for us. Those are all of the things that I think I have, other than also a huge shout out, Giving Tuesday. Do it. Mr. O'Neill.
It is my homework still tonight for Giving Tuesday, right? So just the incredible amount of resources that SCAF provides our community, so I'm shamelessly promoting it as others have done as well. I want to call out a change in the arrangement of this dais, and although Patrick's not here, you'll notice that Alexa is at the center of the dais, and that is intentional because we put students at the center of all of our decisions, and this is not only a image of that, but it is what we intend to continue to do in this district. And so thanks for being willing to sit in the middle, Alexa, and being brave for doing that. We appreciate your insight and your work. Along with the study session on the 11th, we do have a CFAC. Our capital facilities team is Thursday night. We're going to review the levy components, but also our demographic study that has been mentioned several times recently, which helps us to determine boundary adjustments that may be needed and enrollment projections as well. And I'll just continue to thank this community once again. It was a long meeting tonight, but a worthwhile meeting, and a lot that's happened and discussed. And we don't typically do 2-hour meetings, but you've held out, and it just I think is indicative of the commitment of this community. And just want to say thank you for that. And happy holidays. We will see you in January for most of you.
All right. Well, as there is no further business, the December 2nd, 2025 regular school board meeting is adjourned. Happy holidays. Don't forget to turn on your